Welcome to the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Each episode will dive into the world of search engine optimization for cannabis dispensaries. We'll discuss the latest strategies and tactics to help your dispensary rank higher on search engines and attract more patients and customers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, join us as we explore how to maximize your online presence and stay ahead of the competition in the rapidly growing cannabis industry.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the High Ranking Podcast with the annoying person and me. We're on episode number 56.
Okay.
Today, we'll be discussing the myths around keyword research. But before we dive into that,
Top 5.
let's talk about, well, we didn't say top 5, we just said 5. So they may be the top 5. And if they are we doing it in order? Probably not. But anyway, until we dive into that, tell me about your week, because I'm sure it's been full of thrilling stuff.
Yeah, so mountain biking more and more, which is awesome. I feel just feeling a little better. Avs are one win away from advancing through the first round, which is freaking awesome. They dropped the first game. The first game was brutal, where they were on the road. They're in Winnipeg, and that's a wild ring. First of all, anywhere in Canada for a playoff game is going to be bonkers. But everybody in the stadium wears white t-shirts. They call it the whiteout, and they just like deafening noise. And the Avs scored 6 goals, and they still lost. So everything tightens up in the playoffs. The players are just more aggressive in the playoffs. Like, it's just a thing. Refs don't call as much. They put their whistles away, let the players play. They get away with more shit on the ice. Cheap shots, knees, late hits, not really shots to the head, but just the refs just let them play. And if you're on the road and you score 6 goals, you should win the game, and the Avs lost. So the point I'm really making is the Avs should sweep. They should have, but it's just a blunder. And the Avs goalie has actually outplayed the other goalie. And the other goalie for Winnipeg, he will probably be the best goalie. He'll probably win the award for the best goalie in the NHL this season. So he's outplayed him, and the Avs are back on track. So that's pretty cool. 3 W's in a row. Yeah, that's huge. Gentleman's sweep is what they call it. Gentleman's sweep. They could do it in Winnipeg tonight, time of recording, and that'll be pretty badass. So watch that. I'm watching the Avs. Went up to Breck. That was a lot of fun. A couple friends stayed there. So friend of a friend, his dad has a condo in Breck. He's had it for like 20 something years, and you can walk from their front door to the lift, which is freaking awesome. So we got the invite, went up there, said, yep, we're going. We'll treat you guys to a nice dinner, and got overserved, got piled up, but it was a lot of fun.
Overserved. Right. Yeah. I haven't heard you really getting overserved in a hot minute.
Yeah, I don't really drink like that, but it was a lot of fun. We just did like some bar hopping. Then went to a nice restaurant, and then did some more bar hopping, and then I think we came back, and I guess we watched the new X-Men. Like a total like millennial thing to do.
You think you watched the like, X-Men?
Yeah, well, like when I came out, it was like 4 a.m. You know, like you wake up and you feel just awful. You hate life, and he was passed out on the couch, and like old X-Men cartoons were still on. Like, okay, yeah, that's right. I think we did watch some of that. And a banger of an intro song, by the way, absolute banger. So they're on Disney Plus. I need to get back into that because I used to watch that show way back in the day. Saturday morning cartoons. That was my jam. Saturday morning cartoons. So we did that. Went up Saturday early afternoon. It was snowing. It was freaking awesome. Drove up. Yeah, snowed through the night. Of course, I sent you pictures, and you got all butthurt. You got poopy pants.
I did not get butthurt because I was out on the water. How was I getting butthurt about that?
No, you got poopy pants just because you like.
I got poopy pants because I haven't been to the mountains in a long time. But dude, I was in a bathing suit on the boat on the water. How am I getting poopy pants?
Well, you didn't have AC and you dropped the phone, and then I sent you those pictures.
I did. First of all,
amazing dinner.
First of all, I didn't. Second of all, we'll update that in a minute. I didn't.
You did.
I did not.
You did.
You're so full of shit. Anyway, we've had enough of you. So anyway, my week fun because I think we talked about this in the last episode. I think I mentioned that it was getting hot in my house and I thought my AC was not working. And my husband's like, oh, it's probably the compressor. I have a spare one. So I, of course, waited for him to get home to look at it. Turns out that wasn't what it was. Turns out we had to replace the entire air conditioning situation, both the inside unit and the outside unit. And So that happened last Tuesday, and we didn't get air conditioning until yesterday.
Oh yeah. How was that?
Oh, it was fun. I wish I'd have known what the temperature was in this house at its hottest points, because obviously we had no real thermometer to guess it. But when they installed the new thermostat yesterday, it was reading 84.
Oh my God.
And I know for a fact that it was hotter than that on certain days. So it was pretty miserable. But good news is we have air conditioning now. And then my husband dropped my phone into the water when we were out on Sunday. So obviously that phone couldn't have been rescued. So I got my new phone like, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours ago, maybe. And of course, it's not working properly. So that's fun. So yeah, that happened. What else happened? Well, just normal MRI doctor stuff for my old lady back that I have. And oh no, I found this banging chair that I want real bad for like reading. Because right now, when I read, I always have to read in our bedroom because there's other than the couch. If I go on the couch, that's fine. But they like are watching TV or playing video games or whatever. So I found this chair. Oh my God, it is amazing. But it's like 5.5 feet by 5.5 feet. It's huge. And I want it really bad.
It?
Well, I actually found it online, and different furniture stores sell it. So depending on what furniture store is near you, they'll have it. We have furniture stores near us called Rooms to Go, and they have it there. But I think they have it at Ashley Furniture as well, if you have Ashley Furniture. It's like $900, and it's so huge, and it's comfy, and it has 2 drink holders in it, and then it has like a USB thing if you want to attach like your phone or your Kindle or whatever to charge it. Mm-hmm. It's amazing, and I really want it. So now I have to figure out how to fit it in my house. So yeah, so we went and we visited that chair on Sunday because Joe didn't realize how big this chair was till he saw it. And he's like, holy shit. And also years and years and years ago, Joe used to work at this furniture store. And so we still know a few of the people that work in there. Actually, we're going to a party on Friday afternoon. So one of the guys that still works there, he always has this party every year. And so we're going Friday afternoon. So I really want this chair. I just have to figure out how I'm going to fit it in my house because it will not fit in my living room unless I get rid of 2 sections of my sectional, and I don't really want to do that. So yeah, I have to figure it out.
Oh God.
But it is like, oh, this chair is so amazing. I want it so bad. So we have to figure that out. Other than that, I have been reading a lot. I think I'm like 6 or 7 books ahead of because I have a reading challenge. Like, you can set it up on Goodreads or whatever every year to like how many books you're going to read a year. And so I'm like 6 ahead now, something like that. So yeah, just been reading a lot. And the kids have testing this week. So they have to be at school at weird times of the day. It's kind of odd. So yeah, fun times.
They have to be at school at weird times?
Yeah, so like normally school starts at like 9:00, but yesterday they had some testing, so they were there normal time, but like some of them were allowed to leave at like 12 if they were done with their testing. And then tomorrow, Thursday, one of them has to be at school by 8 for some reason. I don't know. It's just odd. It's weird. Trying to keep up with their weird school schedule. So, but they've got like a month left and then they're done.
Oh, they getting summer job? Like, what are they, camps?
There is no camp anymore because they've aged out of camp. So I'm not sure what they'll be doing at this point. But I tell you what they will not be doing is sitting in the house all day, every day, playing video games. That's not happening.
You do. Well, maybe not the video games.
No, I've already, they both know. Well, one of them may or may not be working with my husband this summer. I'm not sure yet. And then the other one, I don't know what she's planning on doing, but she will not be sitting in the house all day, every day. So
yeah, I've done that for summer. It was miserable. Actually, I rode my bike, so
it's not good. It's not healthy. I told her, I said, there'll be a couple of days when we can go to the beach. She's not a huge beach person. She loves going on the boat and like scalloping and snorkeling and fishing, but she's not a huge like beach sand type person. But I told her, I'm like, because we're only going to go out on the boat when my husband's home, which will be weekends. I said, there'll be a couple of times when we can go down to the beach, but I will probably just rent umbrellas and chairs. And then you can she loves to do art. So I was like, you can just do some art and stuff if you don't really want to go in the water, but like at least get out of the house, And then we do have our annual trip to Georgia that's in June, where we'll be gone almost a week this time. Every time we go, we extend it more. We'll be gone almost a week for that. So that's coming up. So there is like a few things happening, but yeah, it's just not good to sit inside for a whole summer. Like, it's not healthy at all. You need to get out. You need to get out. You need to do stuff.
Well, social media and everything. I sound like the old man, yelling at the clouds, but social media and TikTok and YouTube shorts. Yeah, that's not healthy. Been there, done that.
Do any of that. She does not have social media. I don't think she ever cares to have social media. She's playing this game called some Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption or something.
Red Dead Redemption, yeah.
It's
from the guys that did, or from the game studio that did Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, well, she loves it. She plays it like for an hour or so at nighttime with her dad, which, but that's about really it. So I'm like, she's also not the most sociable person. I talked to her the other day. I was like, why don't you invite your friends around or whatever? Like, this friend was like Alex, I think. Why don't you invite Alex around? And she goes, well, because he's a boy. And I said, I'm not talking about inviting him around for like a sleepover. I'm like, but like invite him around, spend some time, whatever. And she said, basically the gist of what she was saying was the idea is great, but the execution, not so much. Because she was like, I like the idea of them coming over, but then they're like here for too long, basically, is what she says. I think she just likes people in small doses, like having them like for a long time or having a sleepover. I think it like drains her tank a bit too much,
Yeah.
I was like, fair enough. Yeah, I was like, fair enough.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, sometimes people can just be too much, so I get it. But yeah, so we'll have to figure it out. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do yet, so there's some time to figure it out. And then what's happening next? I feel like something's happening next week. Oh, May's kind of busy between Mother's Day. So it's my mother-in-law's birthday, Mother's Day, a friend of mine's birthday, my aunt's birthday, and then a friend of mine's coming down from Boston for a few days. So like next month's kind of busy.
We have, right now is like the perfect time for NHL playoffs. So that is going on. Mother's Day. Talking about maybe doing a trip. I mean, we're just talking about it. Anyways, I don't think it'll be too busy next month. We'll see.
Well, anyway, this weekend is the Miami Grand Prix, which I don't like Miami, but the Grand Prix is happening. I have got my McLaren 2024 Miami baseball hat came in. It's awesome. And I did order the Ferrari one because it's blue. I believe that the livery on the car is going to be blue, which they have not done in I don't know how many years. Normally, obviously, it's Ferrari red. I think they've done a yellow one. I believe they've done a yellow one, but I can't remember. But I'm 99% sure it's going to be blue because all their merch is blue. And then I saw their suits, their racing suits, they're blue. So I'm sure this car is going to be blue. And if it is legit. So I'm very excited. That is this weekend. That is happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Maybe I'll beat that.
You should. You completely should. Okay, anyway, moving on swiftly to this week's episode, 5 keyword research myths damaging dispensary SEO. That's a mouthful. Good Lord. I feel like, if you ever talk to someone and they go, oh, what do you do for a job? And you're like, oh, I'm in SEO. And the only thing like these people know is, oh, that's got keywords, right? Like, do you ever get that response?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something to do with keyword, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, they've heard of it and they know kind of something about it, but they don't really know much, which is fine because like that's life, right? There's lots of things that we don't know, but it always seems to be that what they do know, as they always say, oh, that's keywords, right?
That's Google, right?
It's Google keywords, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So keywords, SEO is just keywords. SEO is just keywords. So I had this conversation with a buddy maybe like last week, like a new acquaintance, I guess you would say. So, yeah, like, what do you do? I said, SEO is, and he goes, oh yeah, like keywords. I used to do that like 10, 12 years ago for this liquor store. It's just keywords, right?
Yeah, it's just
not really, dude. It's just keywords, right? I was like, wait, do dispensaries need that? Is that like, so I just like this 5-minute long, I can pare it down now. Federal restrictions, they're pigeonholed. Basically, all a dispensary can do is SEO, which is not just keywords. Portion of it, but it's not just keywords. So yes, I think there is a myth there for sure. I think it's the biggest myth actually, that SEO is just keywords. That is not the case.
No, but I do think that it's obviously a major component of it. And I think that's probably why so many people have heard about it, because it is so important,
Yeah. So to be clear, keywords referring to content, and content is one of the three pillars. So the three pillars being content, technical SEO, so like site structure, hierarchy, metadata, all that boring stuff, core web vitals, all that, and then backlinks. Those are the three pillars. So keywords obviously falls under content. I think it's a very common misconception because that's like what you hear about the most. Keywords, dispensary near me, purple weed, great northern lights, and it's various strains. Those to people are just keywords, and that is not the case.
Right. Okay. Well, I remember, I was just trying to think how to word this, but I remember when I very first came on board, and obviously I didn't know the first thing about keywords either, or about SEO either. I kind of knew a bit because we talked every day while we were doing different jobs, and I helped you with a few phone calls or whatever, but I didn't really know anything, honestly. But I do know that if you're new to SEO and you're lucky enough where you either work for an agency or you're learning from somebody else like I did from you, jumping in and learning how to do keyword research as the basic first thing you do, I think it's probably the most important thing. And it's a great way to learn, because even something that you think wouldn't be so intricate, like keyword research, there's so many ways to do keyword research, and there's so many things to take into account, or different things you can look at, even just on SEMrush or Ahrefs or whatever. So using keyword research as a jumping off point into your new life in SEO, actually, I think is super helpful. And it's a really good way to learn and understand.
I think it's learning what a keyword is, learning what it does and the value that it brings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where for me, I would hop on Google and was wait a minute, if I put in this search term keyword and these pages popped up,
mm-hmm.
well, why is it doing that? Okay, well, how can I get that to happen with the website that I'm working on, or my own website? How is that happening? I think that's the first thing. And then when you see it happen, you rank a web page for the first time, oh, wow, that's crazy. That's how that works. The keywords do play a big role.
I was about to say, I know we've talked about this before, but I do remember the first few pages that I worked on with you, and then you would come back and show me, look, see, it's ranking here and here. And I'll be like, oh my God, you literally see your work happen. You see
that's wild, blows your skull apart, right? It's nuts.
You were like, wait a minute, I basically influenced that. I made that happen, or at least I was a part of the cog that made that happen. But I researched the words that made that happen.
I think that's it. Is researching, taking from your brain onto a computer and getting, the wild beast that is Google to rank your page is pretty wild. So there's an importance to dispensaries and relevant content, and it has to be, quality over quantity. And then that quality content just compounds on itself. And that's the beauty of SEO, that proverbial snowball, rolling down the hill, just gets bigger and bigger. When you do it correctly and you hit search intent, so selecting targeted keywords that align with what a user is looking for, like dispensary near me, purple weed, where to buy pre-rolls, best edibles in Denver, whatever that is, getting a dispensary to pop up, that's critical. So that's all with keyword research. Well, I shouldn't say all. A big portion of it is keyword research and finding relevant keywords. Not getting into the other two pillars that we mentioned earlier, but I think that's why it's a common misconception that keywords equals better SEO.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of common misconceptions, let's talk about myth number 1. More keywords equal better SEO. Yeah,
and that's basically just what we were just discussing of it's more and more and more and more and more. Just give me more and more and more. I think that can actually do more harm, because you just kind of open the floodgates to more keywords and not targeted, not researched, not hitting your niche, not knowing your customer. You confuse Google. I would say other search engines, but let's be honest, it's just Google. You confuse Google and what it is your website is about. And the last thing you want to do is confuse Google. So just keep it tight, fill your niche, know your customer, and know your competitors as well. So hitting proper keywords is critical, and that comes out in keyword research, which we've had a couple episodes about keyword research, haven't we?
Yeah.
At least one. Yeah. So we've covered it in depth before, but yeah, that's how important keyword research is.
Well, also it's quality over quantity, right? Because you could completely find, 100 different keywords to put into a blog post. But like you touched on before, if those keywords don't make sense for the page that you're writing, outside of confusing Google, what you're also going to do is like water down the relevancy. Mm-hmm. So, all that does is hurt you in the end. And what it's showing Google is that the information on there is not what your customer is looking for. And so therefore, why would they come back to your page again? Because if they search something and they found, everything but the thing that they want, the informational aspect of that page is shit too. So yeah, there's times when we've done keyword research where we're struggling to find, a keyword. And then there's times when we've done keyword research and there's so many keywords, but if you're not being picky about those keywords or you're not taking a deeper look into the keywords, you're just going to have a page that makes no sense. And the visitors to your website, if your pages continue to go that way, they're not going to come back because they already know the informational content is not relevant. So it just hurts you in the long run.
Yeah, it's not good for the user. It's not good for search engines. One whose basically job it is to provide users with information. You just give them shit, like you said. You're stomping on your own foot. Is what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's hurting yourself in the end. Okay. So myth number 2, keyword research is a one-time task.
Nope.
That's a lie.
Okay, it's been a long time since I've done keyword research, but it's important to, with how many times, like if you put 10 people in a room and ask them to find the nearest dispensary, they're probably going to come up with, 6 or 7 different variations of the same keyword. Dispensary near me, dispensaries near me, closest dispensary, maybe a product search, pre-rolls near me, whatever it is. So keyword research, no, it's not a one-time task. Changing market trends, customer patterns, customer search queries. Certain people search for certain terms in certain parts of the country. And that's always changing the Google algorithm, of course. Your competitors' content is changing. Keyword research is not a one-time task. In fact, I think certain pages, like low-performing content specifically, should be updated at least every 6 weeks. Like when you go back to your data and check your monthly report, low-performing pages should be updated so that keyword research for that specific page is not done. That is not a one-time task. That should at least 6 weeks, I think. Once every 6 weeks, that should be updated. So, no,
for sure. And we've talked about this before, but when you use like Search Console or Google Analytics to see how your pages are performing, if you find a page is underperforming, you're going to go back and optimize that page. And oftentimes when you're optimizing that page, what that means is you're going to do some more keyword research and you're going to, edit some of that content that's on there using the new keywords that you found. So It's never a one-time thing based on, obviously, you're going to continue to add new pages to your website, but it's also not a one-time thing because you're going to have to go back and optimize pages that you've already done. Maybe you need to bring them up to date. Maybe your competitor's done something that you need to then ramp up your efforts towards. Yeah, I haven't physically done much keyword research in a while, but I do always check and approve most of the keyword content outlines that we provide to our writers. So, and oftentimes I've gone through them and I've looked at them and I've had to have them reworked, or something's not making sense, or I spot something that legally can't be said. Yeah, again, it's a multi-person effort, at least within what we do, but it's good that way because you're making sure that you're not doing things you shouldn't be doing or repeating things or whatever it might be.
And for context, in order to find low performing content, you can go into Search Console, like you said, at Google Analytics, and you can find, if you do a content drill down to a specific silo, assuming your website set up correctly with the correct hierarchy and taxonomy, you can go into Google Analytics, you can filter it down to literally the URL, and you can see, okay, what's not performing, what keywords are indexed on there, what are not indexed. That's through Search Console. But you can do a URL specific search in Google Analytics and find pages in a silo that are not performing. And then you just take those URLs, do more keyword research, do it again, maybe find the top performing. I would find the top 3 performing pages on Google, just reverse engineer. That's a good start. So in order to find those low performing pages, Google Analytics and Google Search Console are your friends.
Okay. Myth number 3. focusing only on high search volume keywords.
Okay.
That's
Why would that be bad?
Oh no. Yeah. That is an absolute no. Mostly
Okay,
because
why?
if you only focus on high search volume keywords, let's say you don't have a very high domain authority, right? That page is not going to rank. I mean, maybe eventually in a couple of years from now, but it's not going to rank. And even if you do have good domain authority, depending on how high that search volume is, like I remember we looked at this a couple of years ago and we looked at how high the search volume was on, we looked at brands. So we looked at like Coca-Cola, obviously, but then we looked at like COVID-19 or something along, I think it was COVID-19. It was like 100%. Like you're not going to beat out like the Mayo Clinic or, something like that to rank higher. It's not going to happen. The best thing that you can do when you're trying to rank a page, especially if you have like mid to low domain authority, is have a lot of lower search volume keywords and add in a few higher search volume. Because what that does is using the lower search volume, they're easier for you to get ranking with those. So your page will start ranking. But then if you want to think long-term, you're going to add the higher ones in. So as your page starts ranking on Google and you start getting more domain authority, you will eventually start ranking for the higher ones. So I always say low volume plus a couple of high volume ones that you really want to rank for, because that will help you short-term and long-term.
Damn. I mean, that's pretty solid. Going after like long tail keywords with lower difficulty, your newer domain. Yeah, that's how to do it. Start that snowball at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
As you grow, you pretty much nailed it. Go after tougher keywords.
Balance, my friend, balance.
Yeah.
All right. Myth number 4, ignoring local keywords.
So this is important. Very, very important. You have to send those local signals with local keywords and tell Google that you are a local business dispensary and you want to be listed in the map pack. With the map pack, the top 3 hits. When you search like dispensary near me, that's the map pack. That's where all the leads are. That's where the money is. So you want to be in there. So if you neglect local keywords and your Google business profile, you're not going to show up in that map pack. So the way to do that is, let's say you want to rank for pre-rolls, which product category. You should have a page that is www.dispensary.com/Colorado/pre-rolls. Or for like your Denver location, it could be www.dispensary.com/Denver dispensary/pre-rolls. And then in that pre-rolls page, it's all the keywords and ancillary keywords about pre-rolls. But your H1 should say, pre-rolls in Denver, best, well, probably not best, top pre-rolls in Denver. And you can figure that H1 out. But you have to have local content about Denver in that page. And then at the bottom of that page, you need to embed your Google business profile on there. So neglecting local keywords, you're literally leaving a lot of money on the table if you're neglecting local keywords. That is not good.
For sure. 100%. It's a terrible plan. I mean, if you really want to jack up, and by jack up, I mean mess up your SEO, go ahead and ignore local keywords. Let me know how that works out. Not so hot. All right.
Yeah, you're basically just letting your competitors win.
Yeah, just hand them over your profits. Okay, myth number 5. Using the same keywords as competitors is enough.
No, because by using the same keywords as competitors, you're basically seeing that your competitors are doing everything right. And so what you should be doing, it's a good start, like you want to see what your competitors are ranking for. So to start, you can go into a tool like SEMrush. You can do a competitor analysis and see where the gaps are. So like if they're ranking for, let's just say, purple weed and you are not, that would be like mission critical to start start that analysis and process to rank for purple weed. So just mirroring what a competitor is doing, it's first of all, assuming that your websites are identical, which is not going to be the case. They could be outranking you. They could have a better backlink profile. They could, they probably have a content strategy, and just trying to copy what they're doing is not the way to do it. So you have to have unique keywords. You have to have unique content, not AI content on your website. And you have to stress the importance of what makes your dispensary unique. But a good step 1 from that is that competitor analysis. And you should do that with your top 5 competitors in the area and going after those gaps. that are basically up for grabs.
Yeah, and honestly, why do you want to copy your competitor? Like, don't you want to be A, unique, and B, better than your competitor? So if all you're going to do is literally be a facsimile of them, you're never going to get the market share, right? You're never going to rank higher than them because they obviously have been doing it longer if you're copying them, which means they're going to rank higher than you anyway. It's a terrible plan. Definitely use them as like inspiration. Definitely check out like SEMrush or Ahrefs and do a gap analysis. Definitely. But in just straight copying them, it's terrible business practice. Terrible idea.
No, you want to be the hammer and not the nail. You want to lead the charge.
100%. You want to be the one that they're trying to figure out and that they're trying to emulate, not the other way around. That's a terrible plan.
Yeah. So start with the gap analysis.
Yeah.
And then top 5 competitors, see what the gaps are, come up with the content plan. Have we done an episode on putting together a content calendar? If we haven't, maybe we will in the future.
Sure. We need to look at it if we've done that or not. Well, we've done so many now that we can't keep track of everything that we've done. I'm just scrolling through real quick to see if we've done a content calendar one, and I don't see it. So that would be a good idea. Okay. Well, that pretty much wraps up this episode. We will be back next week with a whole new episode for you. Next week, can you believe it, will be May. I am like, what the hell? How? Ugh, I can't. This year is like, I don't know. Maybe it's a sign of old age, how quickly these years are going, but they are just like going. It's crazy. Anyway, we'll be back with another episode next week. Until then, you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. Please comment, like, subscribe, give us a review. And until then, enjoy your week.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in the insight and the tips we shared. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, we would love it if you left us a review. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to cover in a future episode, or if you have any questions, you can go ahead and find us on LinkedIn or YouTube. We'll see you next time.